work session, December 4th, 2017. We would start with roll call. Mr. Manning?
District 1, Mr. Guppy.
Present.
District 2, Mr. Venable.
Present.
District 3, Ms. Gilbert.
Present.
And District 4, Mr. Sears.
Present.
Chairman also present.
Thank you, Mr. Manning. Next, we have the invocation. We have Jeff Arnold, our Revenue Commissioner. Mr. Arnold, if you would please.
Let's pray. Our gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for this day. Once again, Lord, we pray that you just be with us today, Lord, through this meeting. Lord, I just pray for these leaders that we have here, Lord, just bless them. Lord, we especially ask for those that are in harm's way today, Lord, those that are without today, Lord, through this holiday season, Lord, we just pray that you bless all. Lord, we ask all these things that are accomplished, and we ask in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. If you would, listen to the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first item we have is approval for the agenda for today's work session. We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. First thing that we have is discussion for items for the commission. Number one on it is Life Resource Services of Jackson County. The gentleman that was going to address us on this got his dates mixed up. It's Mr. Josh Sherlin. He thought he was coming to the meeting tomorrow night, and he could not make it tonight, but he asked me to fill in for him, and you should have stuff in your packet from Life Services of Jackson County, and it's sort of what all they do. They have got a homeless shelter over here at the house kind of across from the First Baptist Church, and this is where a lot of the homeless people and people that they're trying to help are at. But what he is asking for, he didn't know how the program worked. He was wanting some passes for the Council on Aging buses or the rural transportation. And I've asked Mr. Larry Anderson with rural transportation to come by and sort of explain how this operates. And we can go from there, if you would, Larry.
Okay. We do have passes. They're 5-day passes. And we are funded by federal, state, and local. And we're a nonprofit. And we have to plot down every trip we make. We have to plot it down, and all this goes to the state, to ALDOT. And we have to have money for every trip that is, that's taken. And we do have some contract stuff that's like with Mount Lakes Behavioral Health and the Nutrition Center. We do some contract work, but we have to have money for everything. DHR, they're good about helping people. We refer people to them. They buy so many passes a year and distribute them out to different folks that need the help. And we have a few folks that buy like Christmas gifts. They'll come in there and buy passes for Christmas gifts, for the needy people.
In talking with Mr. Sherlin earlier, he said what these passes were for, mostly were for doctor visits. He said that people come there and they only have one person on staff. They already got people that are staying there, and they can't leave and take them themselves. They can't leave the building. It was for doctor's visits, mental health visits, and like scheduled interviews and jobs, and right now they're short on volunteers.
Well, how much do a pass cost, and are they all the same cost?
Well, for 60 and over, it's $4.25 for a round trip. So, and we have like 5-day passes. The little cards are like for 5 days. It's $21.25 for 60 and over for a 5-day pass. And for under 60, it's $5.25 per round trip, and that's $26.25 for the pass. 5-day pass.
And
And that
talking,
is that's cut low, real low.
Haven't changed since 2008.
and talking to Mr. Sherlin, I mentioned DHR, I talked to Larry earlier, and he said they don't have any funds available at this time.
How many, oh, I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
How many passes are they requesting, or are they just?
They just want any help that
One
they can get, they didn't really, they're, he said beggars can't be choosy, and, they just had people that have visits, and, I told him at the time, I didn't know if this was something that the commission could do, or if we need to just try to help them get with, some of the charitable organizations that might be able to fund them, or what, that I would just discuss it with y'all and see what you thought.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir, go
If I
ahead.
might, is this open to any homeless person? Because we take people to Huntsville all the time.
It is.
It's nice to know we
it
had
just-
one here in town.
It just opened, they had it
Okay.
open last year, but this is in a new location. It was what the old Wimberley House used to be over there, sort of across from the, real estate office over
Okay.
there, across from the, First Baptist Church.
Right behind Bill Johnson Tire.
Mm,
Behind?
yeah. He said this was something that Ralph Dahl had kind of suggested and pushed that they do. And, like these people didn't have anywhere to go during the daytime. At night, they had this, room in the inn that the churches do, but this is a place for them to go during the daytime. And they also help, if the commission will note on the second page, they're not just, homeless all the time. They try to give them help and bettering their life and so on.
And if some organization wants to sponsor this, we can do the passes anyway. We can make individual passes so that it would be easier for them,
Yeah.
however they needed.
We can
Let's
do
work it out.
single trip passes.
Okay.
You said most of these, well, a big part of them is doctors' visits, right?
That's what he said, the biggest part of it were doctor visits, and sometimes mental health visits, and, job interviews, that type of thing. I first thought it was to carry them over to the room at the end, but he didn't mention that. This is one that you had talked to, Ms. Gilbert.
Yes.
It goes back to,
And he's been calling a couple
October,
months.
October
Yes.
of 16.
I've got a few brochures here if y'all wanna, it's got a lot of the information on it. Yeah, DHR, they buy individual passes.
To give to their
Yeah,
people.
like they buy 50 at a time.
Yeah, and didn't you
$5,
say that?
and they just go ahead and pay the $5.25, just to, because they don't know what ages are gonna ride.
Didn't you say that hospital did this too?
The hospital buys some for people that are released from the hospital. We get calls pretty often from them.
Yeah.
Won't know if we can pick them up and take them home.
My question to the commission, is this something you want to think about funding, or do I need to just get them a little help and maybe some other way of getting the word out that they might need some funding?
I would be willing to support it, buy a few and see how it goes.
Have they do enough to check with the city of Scottsboro also, since it said Ralph Dow was active in it? If they're willing to front some of them too? Did you mention that?
No, he did not.
Okay.
He just,
I'm for helping out some, but then we have to, see if there's other organizations that help.
you don't want to put a number out there, and then,
Do you have any idea what?
I don't even know.
They're
how
not
many-
requesting a specific number, I don't know.
I don't know how many homeless people, I
Well, this
wasn't
back
aware
here
that there
says
was
have
that
had
many.
17 clients that we have assisted, 8 to this and 3 to this, 2 to that, 6 to this. On the second sheet.
Can we put this on another session, find out what Linda said?
well, as far as the number of people right now, it's low. They just
Low.
got opened back up right now, but he says that he sees in the future it getting back where it was
More
at.
need.
Right. You want to do like $100 worth or $200 or
Look at
something?
about 20 passes, that'd be what, $120, $120 pesos?
Well, if there's no objection, we'll move this to the next commission meeting.
For 20 passes.
20 passes.
Or the full price pass.
Okay.
Yeah, 5 1/4.
Yeah.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Next item we have for discussion is an invoice from AMRV/RC&D Incorporated. Now, this is something that Mr. Manning brought to my attention. It's $3,000. What it is Alabama's Mountains, Rivers, and Valleys Resource Conservation Development Council Incorporated. They've asked for $3,000, and this is an ongoing expense that the county has incurred every year. He brought to my attention that some of the adjoining counties are not participating in this.
Bob brought it up to mind here about a couple months ago, and I told him I'd follow up with it, get over here with, and, so talk with Billy Stevenson, with the board members on the district board, but I have not done it, and, you know, he asked me what I thought, I said, well, we need to see if we're getting any benefit out of it. You know, $3,000, we don't wanna do it if we're not getting any benefit out of it, and he mentioned these other counties that pulled out of it. And, I have not followed up on him, I told him, I said, I need to go over here to Soil and Water Conservation Board and actually see these guys.
I looked it up the best I could tell, and this is 2017. DeKalb County, who did not participate, they got $7,425 worth of work throughout the county. Marshall County, who also does not participate, got $13,400, and Jackson County got $11,400. And about 58% of every bit of this money is in like educational stuff, sort of like 4-H and water conservation and stuff like that. And the reason that Mr. Manning and myself were both discussing this, you know, other appropriations were cut out last year during the budget, and this was just another appropriation. Wanted to see if we wanted to go forward with it, or what the commission thought is on it.
I thought if we did a lot of appropriations that I'd rather fund than this. I mean, that's my personal
I know,
thought.
so.
Okay, if there's no objection, we'll place this on the agenda for the next commission meeting. Next is 2018 holidays. You'll find this in the packet where they're pretty much cut and dried from what they were in the past few years. Is there any discussion on these?
See here at the bottom of the page, do we want to go ahead and talk about our Thanksgiving holiday and Christmas holidays for next year? Or just wait and do them like we have been prior to, few days prior to the specific holiday?
Just wait and do them about 30 days before.
That's what we've been doing.
Yeah.
Well, if there's no objection, we'll place this on the agenda for the next commission meeting. Next thing that we have on the agenda tonight is community corrections.
I'll make a motion to table that.
Okay, we have a motion to table that this time to the next.
Table it over the first of the year.
I'll second the motion. There's been some discussion. We'll try to put together a plan and kind of make some requests and see if those requests are answered, and we're given the information that we've been asking for, and we'll move forward from there.
Okay.
I'll show you the second.
In a work session, we won't need a motion and a second, so we'll just move this to the first work session in the first of the year.
Okay.
That'd be good.
Mhm.
Okay. That concludes everything on the discussion items. We have a report from the staff. Mr. Manning, do you have anything?
Nothing today, thank you.
Mr. Campbell, do you have anything?
A couple items, please. County Road 8, I'd like to report it's 99% complete. We still have the traffic striping that remains to be installed. So where it's at now, that final surface that's on the roadway, it's a manufactured sand, so the excess material is dusty. If there are going to be complaints, it'll happen now. So hopefully this rain that's coming will help. You know, the best thing for that is vehicle traffic and precipitation. So it has been swept, but it still likes the final sweeping and then the traffic stripe. But it really needs traffic and rain at this stage. Once that's done, we have some minor shoulder work, cleanup type work to do, and then that project will be complete. I would like to mention DeKalb County's effort in completing that project. If you all saw the base that was under that roadway before we started, it was basically compromised from one end of the project to the other, at least 1.5 miles of it. So without DeKalb County's partnership in that, the project would not have been as affordable as it was. They allowed us to use their reclaimer along with an operator, wear parts, and their expertise also in reclaiming the roads. So if you see your counterparts from DeKalb County, please pass our appreciation on for their assistance in that. The next thing, the interviews will be conducted tomorrow at Public Works. EA1 is for a vacant EA1 position that's had internal advertisement. There's 2 candidates seeking that position. Those interviews will begin at 7 a.m. And then temporary labor, there are 4 vacant positions for temporary labor, and those interviews will begin at 1 p.m. So if any of you would like to participate or join us, please know that you're invited to do so. And we look forward to a recommendation next meeting on those positions. That's it.
I've noticed, had some crews out doing some preventative maintenance on, down trees. I appreciate that. All the people that travel up and down those mountain roads will appreciate it this winter too. And tell the guys, thank you.
I'll do it, thank you.
And did you get room on the roads in Bridgeport that they were talking about?
Yes, ma'am.
And they moved out on Kings Cove, they said, so
Yep.
they really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Chief Hornan, do you have anything from the Sheriff's Office?
No, sir.
Ms. Clary, do you have anything from the Attorney's Office? We have any comments from the Commission? Ms. Gilbert?
I don't know if it's time for.
Mr. Sis?
No, sir.
Mr. Venable?
No, sir.
Mr. Guffey?
No, sir.
The EMA position is kind of open. If any of you guys want to participate in that, the applications are there, and we're trying to get it lined up where we can start interviews pretty soon. So if you need copies of the applications we've got there.
Yeah, they gave them to me, so.
And Mr. Manning had talked to Mr. Hughes from Bridgeport, and that paving project, sidewalk project is underway, and so he has researched back and made the payment that's necessary for that, to get that underway. And that's all I have. So that concludes everything for today's work session. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Meeting adjourned.